our language changes from one community to the other. How St. Francis, Spring Creek, Parmley, they all differ from one another. And so I think I wrote no, I took it down. I talked about last week when I was teaching at the Indian school, I passed out a bunch of Lakota word list of animals and phrases. And a few days later, one of the kids came back and said, "My grandma said," it was from Parmley, "that's not how you say it." And then a few days later, one from Mission, Antelope, came and said, my grandmother, grandfather told me that's not how you say it. There was the word was mouse. Did I talk about that last week? Yeah. And how it changed. So we just added onto the list of words that we already had. I think my worst time was conjugating. Conjugating is very important because one word, somebody else could say it in a different way, and when, and who, and how many, all these things apply to one verb. And so it changes for each particular area or setting. And so we'll get in. And then the nasal vowels, remember, ah, e, okay? Ah, e, all comes out through the nose, okay? And then we have the consonants, the alphabets. We don't use which alphabets?
R.
Who?
R.
R. We do not use R. R. Anybody else?
D.
D, right? D. We don't use D. A, B, C, D.
F.
D belongs to the Dakota, okay? And what was the other one?
F.
F, okay? D, E, F. We do not use F. G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, right? V, V, W, X. How about X? Y and Z, okay? So these are the ones we do not use in our vocabulary. Huh?
Q.
Q, oh yeah. Thank you. So those are the ones we do not use. Unless you're Dakota. Okay, so we'll get back to the consonants. The A, B is A, E, O, U. And anytime you see those side by side, they're going to have their own definite pronunciation. Okay? Just like I was showing you early. O-I ali. O-I ali. O-I ali. Okay? Or o-ile. Ich-u. Okay? And you'll see how they stand kind of flash out by themselves. The B, the C, look how many C's we have. We have one with a little dot above it, the C, and another C with that first one's the guttural. And then we have a glottal stop, a glottal stop. The G with a dot above it. H, and there's a H with a dot. Another H with a little period and a little comma. J, K, and then there's a K with a dot on it, one with a dash above it, and one with a glottal stop. I, M, N, P. P has 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And they all have a different sound. Because some words, the diacritic marks are very important because there are some words that spell exactly the same, and I'll show you here in a little bit. And the S has 1, 2, 3, 4 also. Okay, and all those little marks on the alphabet, they have a different sound. They have a specific sound that the word, in the word you're going to see these. The T, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 T's. Okay, the W, Y, and Z, okay? And then it talks about 2 additional sounds were introduced with the rapid or conversational speech. The EA, in Pila Maya, okay? Shortened from Pila Maya. Thank you. Pila Maya. Okay? And Au in Lashte or Lila ushte. Shortened from Lila Washte. Okay? So we're going to go into a lot of these different changes through the EA and AU. The and the are not in the alphabet system. They have become part of the slang language. Okay? Lakota vowels, as in A, as in father, father, okay? As in met, E, as in me, O, as in oak, U, as in shoot, Okay, let's practice these. Wayawa, wayawa, wayawa. Okay, we're not going to worry about the translations right away, but getting to know these sounds, okay? Wayawa. Okay, wana. Wa. Wala. La la. Wagana. Hoye waye. Very good. Okay, let's try the e. El. El. Lel. Ble. He. We. Hell. 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 Okay? Remember, there's an L at the end. Hell. Hell. Okay, we'll get it. Le. Okay. And E. Lila. Ile. Iyaye. See, notice how the E, ya, yeah. Okay, notice how the sounds are with those vowels. Ilale. Ilale. Wapia. Wopila. Okay, under the O. Ole. Ole. Okay. Ogle. Wohe. Oile. Oiye. Oiali. Oiali. Okay. The U, the U. Uwa. Uwa. Some of you probably heard some of these. When we say it, it's going to flash in your head. Uwa. Iku. Kuwa. Hokuwa. Okay, wakuwa. Ya'u. Okay, very good. Washte. Any questions? Huh? Which one do you want to say over and over? Uwa. They tell little babies, uwa, uwa. Right? Yeah. And that's kind of a little, how would you say it? Like a tender, gee, how would you describe that? You know, you feel like real close, you know. Uwa. You call a little baby, you tell the baby, uwa. Okay. Ole, uwa. Okay, when the Lakota word or vowel begins a word, the sound is articulated clearly. Okay. O, ole, ole. Uwa, uwa. Okay. And then it says when two or more Lakota vowels are written together, each vowel is pronounced separately. Okay, I mentioned that before. Lakota words have the same number of syllables as they have vowels. O, ile. Okay, there's three vowels. O, I, e. Okay, and there's three syllables. Okay, that's what they're talking about. O, I, ali. O, I, ali. And that one has four vowels, 4 syllables. Okay. Oha. Okay. Kinship. It says grandfather or English, female term and male term. Okay. Trunkashila is the same as the female. Trunkashila. Unchi. Ate. Ina. What's the next one? Lekshi. And what's the next one? Tiblo. Okay? But look how it changed over here. Remember we had this earlier? The female and the male, there it is. Okay? Tiblo becomes chia in the male. And the younger brother, Misunkala. And look at the male. Misu, right? Okay. Look at the older sister. The female says Chuwe. Okay? Chuwe. And the male says Tranke. Tranke. What's the next one? There you go. Mitrankala. And the male say Trankshi. Trankshi, your little sister or younger sister. Okay? How about this male cousin? Shicheshi. Shicheshi. Male to male, that's the female saying cousin, male cousin. Shicheshi. Male to male, they say Trahashi. Trahashi. Female cousin, female to female, Jeprashi. Okay? Jeprashi. Very good. I can hear good pronunciation. Okay, and the male to female is Hankashi. Okay? Hankashi. The son, the female calls the son Chinks. Okay? Chinks. Also the male. Chunks. Also the male. Tronshka. Tronshka. Tronjan. Tronjan. Trakoja. Trakoja. Grandchild. Trunkashi. Okay, the male and the female still say the same. Trunkashi. Unchishi. Unchishi is the mother-in-law. Okay. Wichawocha. Wichawocha is the son-in-law. Wocha. Wocha, both still. And look at the brother-in-law. Shiche. Shiche. And traha is male to male. Traha. Sister-in-laws. Sister-in-law, female to female, is szczepcha. Szczepcha. It's misspelled. Hanka is male to female. Hanka. The in-laws, general, Oma Hitron. Oma Hitron. Okay. Oma Hitron kind of refers to they were born outside the family circle, okay, but they became a relative when they got married into the family, okay. Okay, on page 18. Read this kola. What does kola mean? Friend, okay. In Lakota, when you call somebody kola, this kola is pretty much going to have the same interests. He's going to doing things that you like doing. Everything's going to be in common, you know, like you. So you become kola, and a lot of times kola becomes pretty strong. They become lifelong kola, like your brother. And people say sometimes, a lot of times, hunka, somebody that took you in, somebody that adopted you as a sister or a brother, and they become very close, closer than your real brother and sister. And it's kind of interesting how all that works. Okay, elders say you are lucky to have one kola in your lifetime. Okay? To acknowledge another male as a kola, it is to commit that individual for the rest of your life. They say if a kola gets shot down in battle, then his kola has to go in and rescue him. That is his job because they are kola. The commitment is very strong. Kola and mashke. Mashke pretty much commitments are between the two people involved. Family members and friends respect and honor the commitment. They are not obligated to be part of the relationship. In a Teoshbaya system, sometimes you hear, that's his kola, or that's her mashke. These terms allow two people to share confidential information, and no one will pry into their personal matters. A kola or a mashke will not reveal information about another person, especially if it endangers the other. Keeping a secret is practiced here. Today we may think we have a friend and we tell them a secret, but soon the whole community knows. Often too, kolapi or mashkepi, they are much alike. They share common interests and think alike. To tease a brother-in-law, a man might say, "How, kola? the brother-in-law will respond, hoch. You know, he's denying. Hoch.
Denied.
I'm not your kola. Don't say that out loud. They might think I'm like you. Oh boy. And just think, you know, how, you know, to say that to brother-in-law, you know, brother-in-law, or the female will have a brother-in-law, and they usually get along a little better. But a male and a sister-in-law, sometimes they terrorize them really, you know, to me, you know. But they say, you know, that sister-in-law is kind of like your wife, you know. She becomes your wife also, you know, not literally, but you know, that thought of a female that your brother, you know, marries. And I remember when I was a little kid, oh man, you know, my stepdad's brothers, oh, they would hassle the heck out of my mom, and I used to get mad, you know, for the things they say to her or tell her, you know. It used to make me mad, but that was the whole belief. And you were always being tested of your strength, your willpower. And today, you know, maybe we should practice those at home so we can learn to be strong, you know, strong thinkers, strong willpower. They, you know, they would tease each other and laugh at each other or whatever, you know. There's a difference when you know, we Indian people or Lakota speakers, we get together and oh, we just laugh and, you know, make jokes at one another, and it gets funnier by the minute. Okay, Lakota philosophy, experience and knowledge are equally important, for together they create wisdom. The person of wisdom will use the proper gender ending in formal speech. Gender ending are words that end a sentence and identify the gender of the speaker. Okay, and notice the following. The female says what? Washteksto. Okay, washteksto. And the male will say washte yelo. Washte yelo. A lot of times it kind of makes me want to laugh, but I hold myself, control myself, you know. I go and I shake hands with maybe a elder woman, and I say how, and I shake their hand, and they say how, you know, in return, whoa. Remember to learn that introduction, okay, introducing yourself. There's the female way and the Wichasha oral drill, okay, on 69. Because by the time we leave here, we're going to be able to proudly jump up and say, you know, my name is Introduction of Dialogue, Dialects, Geographic importance of the language, introduction of sounds, vowels, diacritic marks. Next week we're going to get into the diacritic marks. Okay? So be ready. Be ready to stretch those cheeks before you come, because we're going to have some fun. Learn to laugh. Homework. Wichashawiya are terms of respect. Okay, on the last page, 25. Okay. What you have learned thus far about these terms and how things, concepts are reflected in the language. Be able to explain how the breakdown of these roles is reflected in the slang language today. I don't know. I always tell my students, give it all you got. I'm not here to make failures. Okay? Okay, well, you guys have a good week. And